Today's video is sponsored by Swagbucks. So in life, whether it be gambling at a casino, or my putrid sports teams, or even a game of bingo with my grandmother, I just don't have much luck. I'm pretty much a perennial loser. Which is precisely why I can sympathize with all of you who tell me how you participate on my Instagram polls, but every single time the recipes that you vote for never win. So again today, we are doing a recipe that has come in second in the past, Rie's Fancy Fruit Loop Cream Puffs. And what else is new? It's a Rie recipe, it looks fantastic and delicious, I really want to eat it, yada yada yada. So enough of the yapping, let's get right into this one. On today's to-do list, we have a choux pastry to make, a custard cream, a fresh whipped cream, and a white chocolate dip. But before we can start on any one of those, I wanted to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, Swagbucks. You guys have heard me talk about them before. Today they are back again. If you are unfamiliar, Swagbucks allows you to earn money and earn cash and gift cards by taking surveys, watching videos, and playing video games. I cannot express what a no-brainer it is to earn cashback and gift cards for places that you already shop. Places like Amazon, Walmart, Target, Starbucks, you name it, it's probably on the list. So do yourself a favor and start your cashback journey by clicking the link in the top line of the description or in my pinned comment. Get that first free $5 after your first survey, and let me know down in the comments what you chose to put that towards. Thanks again to Swagbucks for coming back and supporting me and the channel once again. If you would like to follow along at home and make some of these beautiful looking cream puffs, grab some Fruit Loops and sugar, flour and cognac, Hennessy, brandy, whatever you want to call it, kosher salt, cornstarch, a couple of eggs and heavy whipping cream, white chocolate, a bunch of food dye, a stick of butter, some vanilla extract, and some milk. This one starts out very simply. Just grab 4 cups of your cereal, 3 cups of milk, combine them together and let them steep for an hour, even using a little bit of a plate trick to completely submerge your cereal. Feel like a clever badass until you realize that you had to heat up the milk first so that it will extract more flavor out of your cereal, and then once your milk comes to a simmer with some steam coming off, just throw them back together. I'm not really the biggest Fruit Loops fan. I kind of feel like not only do they all taste the same, but they don't really taste like fruit or much of anything really. You guys know my favorite is Lucky Charms, but if I had to go with a colorful rounded cereal, it'd probably be Apple Jacks or something similar. I crushed and sifted out some more cereal for the garnish later. I strained out the now very soggy, disgusting looking cereal out of our milk, which along with some water is going to be the base of our choux dough. This is a recipe I've gotten better at over the years. I have plenty of experience making it, and when I usually have a shred of confidence, it'll go downhill at some point, so stay tuned. I always just try to remember that you first try to get to this very matte, almost mashed potato-like mixture before adding in enough eggs to get a nice, shiny, almost runny consistency, which in this case took about 4 large eggs. Another tip to remember is that if you made this dough correctly, you don't need much at all when you're piping these out. They're gonna puff up, they're gonna be super airy. They should end up being almost 90% hollow in the middle, and that's why they're going to be perfect for our cream puffs today. Use a little bit of water and your finger to tamp down any Dairy Queen swirls, and then bake them off in a 400-degree oven for 20 minutes, and then lower that to 350 for another 10 minutes. Overall, I was pretty happy with how these came out. They're a few shades darker than Rie's, but I'm happy with the puff and the smell coming off of them, so I'm gonna let them cool for now. Moving on to the custard, which has a slightly higher chance of failure, believe it or not. And that's mainly because you have to heat your milk separately, combine your sugar, your eggs, your cornstarch, and then very carefully and slowly temper your eggs so you don't scramble them just by dumping them all in at once. I'm very pleased to report that outside of a little spillage and some burning milk, these actually came out looking pretty good. The eggs did not scramble, and it really only took a couple minutes to get a nice thickened custard filling. This will actually set up even more in the fridge and become more solidified, so don't worry if yours seems a little bit too runny. And about 40 minutes later, I took it back out, added in my brandy, and then dividing that into however many colors you're going to want to use. Both Rie and myself are going to do 3, pink, purple, and blue. Although this episode could very easily turn into a Trix yogurt recipe, I'm going to set those off to the side and then whip up some of my heavy cream. Unless I missed something, there is nothing added to this cream. There's no powdered sugar, there's no castor sugar or vanilla extract. It is just cream, whipped up, and then divided equally into our 3 color batches. Insert here the obligatory comments about how tiring whipping cream is and how I don't know how Rie does it every single recipe. But by the end of this entire process, you should have 3 very vibrant, very even looking custard creams. Now if you want that swirl pattern, but you don't have that fancy piping extension tip, just try to divide your piping bag into 3 or 4 equal segments and just drop in your different colors. It won't be as evenly dispersed, but it'll still come out looking pretty cool. And really, all there's left to do now is to chop the tops off of all of these, pipe in a generous amount of our cream filling, and then add the finishing touches of some white chocolate and some of those crushed up cereal pieces. I'm not sure if I'm just getting a little better at this, or these companies are making these recipes more attainable and transparent, but I'd say I'm on a pretty good streak of getting almost exactly what the original video was offering. Or it could just be because Rie made it. That's an option too. What do you think, guys? This has to be up there, probably in the top 3 or top 5 most aesthetically pleasing foods I've ever made. Look at these things. I kind of don't even want to eat them, they're so perfect. Okay. This one's throwing me off guard a little bit, because even though I made it, I know everything that's in it, it's still very, very mild overall. It's insanely light. It's not really sweet at all, I assume because there's no sugar in the cream, there's very little sugar in the custard. As with all of Rie's desserts, the texture is just off the charts. You could eat like 6 of these and it wouldn't bother you. My main gripe is the flavor, because like I said, it's almost not barely sweet at all, and then when something is this poppy and colorful, you want it like super flavorful, very either fruity or even almost candy-like. This is not that though. This is very deceptive. It's very pleasing to look at and certainly doesn't taste bad, so I'm gonna give this a 7.6 out of 10. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, leave me a like. If you would like to be in the little Patreon slide after this one, the link is down in the description. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram if you don't already. Other than that, have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you right back here next time. Peace.
With the M without the AD. Flipping burgers and my money super lazy. Try and make a meal tonight, they ain't paying me. Try and supersize my life with my 18. Yeah, our style wasn't wavy, but we had a vision.